Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You both have quite eloquently outlined the need. In addition to this committee, sit on both the Armed Services and Intelligence Committees, and over the past 4 years, we have had dozens, if not hundreds, of warnings of cyber attacks against critical infrastructure, and the grid certainly qualifies for that. I characterize what we're looking at now as the longest windup for a punch in world history. We know it's coming, we just don't know where and when, and the risks are enormous. I think the second thing I wanted to say is that there's no single solution to this problem. The utilities themselves have done amazing and wonderful work in defending themselves. FERC has worked with them, the Department of Energy. There are lots of solutions percolating around. The pilot program that's proposed in S79 basically came out of work that was a result of the Ukraine hack in 2015, where they found that one of the reasons the Ukrainian grid was able to be resilient in that case was that there were some old-fashioned analog switches, and perhaps even places where old Dmitry with his dog had to go out and pull a switch that saved the grid from a real catastrophe. And what we're talking about here is not rebuilding or re-engineering the entire grid, but to really ask the question of, are there some back-to-the-future answers at critical points that might protect us from the kind of attack we know is coming. It's no coincidence that the 4 principal sponsors of this bill, myself, Senator Risch, Senator Heinrich, and Senator Collins, are also all on the Intelligence Committee. And our work on this bill really started in that committee and has carried through onto this committee. So I look forward to the hearing. I appreciate your calling it. And the other thing I want to express is time is running out. I don't want to go home to my constituents in the middle of a blackout and say, well, we might have gotten to this, but we had different committees had jurisdiction and we really couldn't quite get at it in the conference committee. That isn't going to cut it. I think this is qualifies as an emergency, and I hope we can act promptly, and I hope that this is a bill that might get the level of support that it could go through on its own without waiting for a more comprehensive energy bill, because that endangers, I think, our taking a practical step that could be of significant help to us. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.